Well, here we are. Gonna go chase some crappies. This is our second time out on the water since the whole COVID-19 thing started here in the U.S. Dad and I have been staying away from everybody, doing what we're supposed to be doing, staying home, and it's about time we got out on the water. I'm going stir crazy, and I gotta catch some crappies. So today we're on a dark water lake. The fish should still be where they were late ice. Water temps are still, I'm sure, in the low 40s. And first place I would look when targeting crappies this early in the spring, right at ice out, is going to be the same place as you're getting them in the wintertime. So specifically on this lake, this is a dark water lake, it's 22 to 26 feet deep max. And we're finding the crappies a lot in 19 to 22. So that's where we're going to start. And pretty much just go along with the Humminbirds until we find some schools of fish and drop some jigs down on them and see if we can't catch them. Should be pretty easy. There's a lot of them in here, and hopefully we can put a few in the live well, because we're actually running low on the freezers now after everything that's been happening here lately. So we haven't been on the lake maybe a few minutes here. I've got two different birds going, the Helix 8 and the Helix 7, and I kind of got them both set on the same setting right now. I was going to do down imaging and side imaging at the same time, but it didn't take me very long to find the fish. As you can see, these ones here on the bottom more than likely are larger fish. We're backing up over ones that we had already been on, but that right there is what I'm interested in. I'm going to pull forward a little bit, see if I can't get them to come back up on the sonar here. This is the outer edge of a very large crappie school that we just went over, as you could see when we first turned the camera on. There, we should be just starting to hit them. Right here. This is that school that you saw earlier. All I did was just backed up and I pulled the boat forward to come back on top of them. So we don't, at this point I don't even need to bother turning the side imaging on, because we were able to find the fish real quickly. So now I'm going to hit a waypoint. I just marked my spot. That way I know if I'm getting rods out, getting things ready, I don't have my trolling motor in the water yet, I can be able to get back on these fish very quickly and catch them. So, well, I shouldn't say catch them, I should hopefully catch them. So, you can see there's a giant school of fish here. They're coming up 22 and a half, so we're about 4 feet off the bottom is the top of that school. There's a lot of fish real close to the bottom. And what we're going to be doing today for techniques is tungsten jigs. I've got Kender's rocker jig. It's a Wonder Bread color. Rigged up on my rod already. That's what I'm going to try today. This is one that I have not used during open water. Caught plenty of fish on it in the winter. Tipped with a Berkeley Gulp Alive 1-inch minnow, of course, because that's my favorite, and they catch the fish. All we're going to do is just back up a little bit, get the trolling motor in the water, get back over to my mark in the GPS location area, and then just hit spot lock on the Minn Kota. It'll hold us on those fish. The wind is blowing this direction, so once the spot lock is turned on, the boat will kick around and it'll ride nose into the wind, and we can just sit on top of that school and pound some fish. That's the hope. Look at all those fish. They're all crappies. I'm going to switch this other sonar back over. That way I can kind of see both here. I've got my waypoints on here, so I know I'm on where I want to be. And at the same time, I've got the sonar on so I can see the fish. There's a lot of fish down there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the jig down and see if I can't almost be like ice fishing. The wind's blowing right now. Being able to have the spot lock with a little bit of wind, it forces the boat to kind of stay steady. And the nice thing about that is you can drop a jig out the back close to the transducer. You should be able to see it go down and watch the fish come up and hit it, just like ice fishing. Drop that jig back down to them. Maybe I can draw one in off the edges that's a little bit more active. Get one of them to eat. Right now I can see my jig, and I've got, after there was no fish on there at all there, and I just had 3 fish come in after working the column and dropping it. Cool guy, but it's the species we're after. I'm using a much bigger jig than I normally would early in the season like this. I kind of like to use a little bit smaller stuff, but I was hoping by doing that I could kind of knock out some of the real small fish. Maybe target some of the ones that are a little bit nicer. I'm not seeming to like it if it's just sitting still. Start working that again. I can't draw in a hungry one. See, that's my jig right there. That's the fish underneath it. Got my jig going up. The fish is gonna come up right now. Then you got still not quite a keeper, but a lot of fun. Easy. This is something that anybody can do with the right equipment. Yourself a nice sonar. These Humminbirds are unbelievable. I've got the sensitivity not even turned up that high right now. Dawn imaging. And being able to have the Minn Kota on the front, the spot lock, it's just, it's lights out. It literally is a game changer when you're doing this kind of fishing. Keep this on the spool. Once we calm down and we're not seeing a lot of fish, we kind of harvest most of them and or throw back most of them. All I gotta do is just move a little bit, so I don't get on the sonar, we're good to go. One of the really nice things about having the smooth move seat base is attached to these seats in the lund is when I'm fishing like this and I want to be able to see my jig on the sonar off the back of the boat. It's really tough when you've got stationary seats and you're facing straight forward, because then your whole body has to turn your rod back here, and then your head turns looking at the sonar, which is up here on the console. So being able to have this smooth seat base installed on here, it allows me not only to move my seat forward and backwards to give me more room in the helmet cockpit. Now, not only can I do that, I can spin it. So a lot easier on the neck, a lot easier on the arms, everything really, if you're fishing straight out in front of you and you're not turning constantly like this to look back at the sonar and be able to follow your jig. So it's another really nice option when you get these smooth ultra seat bases in your boat. Really nice being able to pivot. Not only does it smooth your ride on rough days, you can move around to pretty much be able to fish the way you want to fish.
Here's a situation where the correct technique and the correct bait made a big difference. Now, I've been out here the entire time Keith's been shooting this video, hadn't even had a hit, and I was using a different tail. So I switched over to the Berkley Gulp Alive 1-inch minnow, put it down, and whacked one right away and had another hit. So obviously, if you're not catching fish on one presentation, and you can see them on the sonar like we are, that Helix 7's loaded with crappies right now. Just keep switching out the baits until you find the one that the fish want. They'll tell you what they want to eat.
There's my jig. I can see that fish is actually above where I'm jigging, so I'm going to bring it up, see if I can't get his attention. One from underneath is coming up right now. There he is. A couple fish real high, so I'm going to bring mine up, see if one of them is a little bit bigger. There we go. That's a little bit better. See my jig going up and down right now. What I did is I turned the sensitivity up a little bit more on the settings so you guys would be able to see the jig better. And the fish stick out a little bit better too. Couple, 2-3 fish there on the bottom. One of them seems interested, he's kind of coming up right now. Most of the fish that I've been getting to hit are ones that just appear above it. And by bringing the jig up to them, I'm able to get them to hit. They're really liking the Wonder Bread color today. I got lucky just That was one I decided to try, and I'm really liking that versus some of the other colors that we've been working with today. And yeah, it's just a rocker by Kender's jig, tipped with a 1-inch minnow. Pretty easy. We got 2 or 3 fish coming up to it right now. This one should hit. Oh, and I missed him. I'm a whiffer. Swing and a miss. This makes things a little bit easier when equipment you're using. You can feel everything happening. You know when that fish is there. Watching them on the sonar is pretty cool. I literally feel like I'm ice fishing out of the fact that I'm not freezing. Right, Dad?
Exactly.
We were looking forward to getting out on the open water and getting onto the fish for the longest time. Waiting for that ice to go. Took a little longer than we had hoped. We ended up getting real warm, and then it got real cold for an extra 2 weeks, so our ice held on. Got up about a week now, and opener will be here for game fish for walleyes and pike. Really looking forward to doing a little bit of that. Sure, we'll be chasing some walleyes in the reeds, working the sand and rocks a lot. So there'll be some videos to look forward to coming out here later in the spring.
Saturday. On the walleyes.
So what we're doing right now, crappies, the technique that we're doing right now to catch these crappies can be done pretty much all year round. A lot of these lakes that have a little bit of deeper water, there is a population of crappies that will stay out in that deeper water, suspended, just moving around, swimming all the time. If you find them on the sonars and use this technique, you can catch them all year round. Fish are going to migrate out to these areas a lot more in the fall, and you'll be able to find them the entire winter and through the spring in these spots before the spawning season, and then they'll go shallow. Once we hit middle of May and on, water temps will get a little bit higher, fish are going to move in shallower, and then we're going to be targeting completely different spots. We'll be showing you that whole process throughout the season here, where you can catch crappies on these small inland lakes, northern Wisconsin style lakes that we have, throughout the entire season. Where to find them and how to catch them. That's that Wonder Bread. Got one? Eater. For this lake.